Hey friends, you're watching BrainStormAcres. I'm Henry.
And I'm Irene.
We have a mail call today.
We do. One was anticipated, the other was totally unanticipated. So, if you don't mind, I'll do the unanticipated one first.
Okay.
This little box, it's very funny because we really have not watched nearly as many YouTubes recently as usual. We've just been insanely busy, and the other day we tried to watch somebody that we really like and wound up falling asleep on the sofa together, which was lovely, but it means that I'm sort of behind on things, and I just happened to watch Sandy at
Suburban HometeaderWy, Wyoming, and Arizona.
Arizona, yes. I always stall on that one. Sorry, Sandy. And she was making these very cool light catchers that you would hang like on the edge of a patio or something like that. And she alternates glass that she uses from fusing.
You know, so, if you haven't watched Suburban HometeaderWy, Wyoming, and Arizona, you really ought to go take a look because she does some really, really wonderful things. She's living in Yuma right now and about ready to head back to Wyoming. That's right. Why it's Wyoming and Arizona.
Right, yeah, they have two different places, and they're snowbirds. They winter in Yuma, and they summer in Wyoming. And believe me, you don't want a summer in Yuma.
I'm so jealous, Sandy, because you're able to grow really great food crops in our winter time. Right. It's just fine down there. You had some really, really great food that came out.
Really, and you know they can grow citrus and stuff down there, whereas that's totally not on the list up here. Anyway, so she was showing us how she made these the other day, and talking about them and all that kind of stuff. And when the mail came in today, there it was, one of these cool light catchers. Now, what we're going to do with this is I'm going to hang this in a window. We have a couple of very full-length French doors because right now we do not have any place that's covered sufficiently outside that we can hang anything outside.
The wind's just blowing too hard. We're having 30, 35 mile an hour winds on a pretty regular basis. And
it's spring. It's spring in northern Arizona, which frequently can be just too windy for anything. We actually have our wind chimes and stuff hanging in the pantry right now. So that tells you. But I think this will actually fit perfectly in the kitchen door. We have two French doors in the dining room and two in the kitchen, and they are just plain glass in the center. Well, the only trouble with that is the ones in the kitchen, we find that if we don't put something in the door to make it look like it's sort of blocked, birds will fly into it sometimes. So I have a couple of things over there, but one of them fell down last year and it was broken. So we have a hummingbird with no wings in that window, which looks sort of awful. So I think I'm going to replace it with this, which will be much more attractive than a hummingbird with no wings. And will be sparkly and everything too. So thank you so much, Sandy. We really appreciate this. This is going to be awesome.
Well, it's awesome right now. It'd be
yes,
even more
it'll be awesome in the door where we can see it. And that door doesn't. I mean, it can be opened, but normally the only time that door is open it's two doors together like that. And I'll put it on the left one because that doesn't normally get opened unless we're moving major pieces of furniture or appliances in and out of the house. So, so it'll be safe. We won't be crashing into it. And she even set a really cool hook so that we could hang it someplace. So hopefully it's on our list, but it's so far down the list right this second I can't tell you where it is, that one of these days we'll have some sort of a gazebo thing where we can actually hang things like this when the winds aren't howling.
How's your thumb doing, Irene?
It still hasn't fallen off, so it's okay.
You planning for it to fall off?
It feels like it should probably sometimes, but but we don't want it to fall off. We need it.
Does that mean that you can open or not open the next?
Oh, I can open the next packages. Yeah, that's not a problem. This is something we ordered. We have talked to you guys about it before. We got it through Amazon. There's multiple locations to get it. You can just dump it upside down. They're fully packaged.
The last one that I bought like this, we bought at a hardware store about an hour and 15 minutes away.
Right.
And they didn't have any more. I would have to wait. So we decided
we weren't going to wait.
Rather than wait, we would just go ahead and
Now,
order.
These are not cheap. They are expensive, and they're what I would call a lifetime commitment in terms of investing in things.
Maybe not a lifetime for the rodents.
They have a very short lifetime, which is okay. You have to understand, we live in a very rough environment in terms of rodents and other marauding creatures like that. My rule is if you stay outside the fence, you can do anything you want pretty much, except chew on my tires. But if you are inside my fence and you are damaging my garden,
your history.
Or no quarter given. So we had purchased 2 of these.
We bought them last year when we were having quite a lot of mouse damage in the beds, in the flower beds, and it was driving us crazy. And using spring traps is fine, it works,
right.
But we have to be very careful because we do have a cat and we have a dog, and we don't want the service dog to get damaged, and we don't want the cat to get damaged.
Right.
We don't need more vet bills.
And we don't want the birds to get damaged. In the past, and it hasn't happened a huge number of times in 17 years, but still, I don't like squashing any birds. And the problem is, in order to get the larger rats that we have here, we have to use the big rat traps. Well, in order to make them as safe as possible, what I do is I put them underneath various sizes. You get the various sizes of storage boxes that look like milk crates. And the rodents have no trouble getting into those, but the birds don't usually. Well, there is one kind of bird around here called the canyon towhee, which will climb into milk crates. And we have actually killed 2 over the last 17 years that way. We also caught one bird that came through extra early in the morning before we got out to pull the traps. So that's one of the problems. If you don't have them completely covered, then there's always the risk that a bird will get into them, because I like to put apples in them, and the birds are also attracted to apples. Peanut butter does not work as well with our rodents as they do. I mean, peanut butter works great most places, but I don't know whether they're just picky or they've been peanut buttered too much by other people or whatever. But we decided that it was worth it. The chance that a bird will actually get into these is...
It's not going to happen.
Virtually not. I mean, it's possible. Anything's possible. However, once you've set these things, they're good for 24 shots, because it actually fires with a CO2 canister. So 24, it depends. Usually I see when there's been a rodent killed by one of these things, once in a while something steals the rodent before you can get to it. In fact, in some of their advertising, they talk about cats stealing the rodents and stuff, and you don't have to worry about it because you haven't poisoned the rodent.
If you remember last season, at the end of the season, we reviewed this same kind of trap, and we were unconvinced that it was a good investment.
Mm-hmm.
But earlier this spring,
well, and at the end, it seems like we did the video where we're like, well, we think it's a good investment, but we're not 100% sure. And then we started getting rodents practically every night, bam, bam, bam. And they're just small mice, but if anybody's ever had mice chew through clothes and boxes and paperwork and books and all kinds, we've got friends who've had that happen before, and get into the engines of your car and eat your wires and all that kind of stuff. It's not uncommon for people in our area to spend $1,500 or more a year on chewed wires in their cars. And I don't care what you do. We have done the stinkiest dryer sheets you can find in the world.
Essential oils. Soap.
The flashing lights. We do use the lights that they use for landscaping that are like spotlights. We've got one of those that shines up from underneath in the engine compartment. That helps. But nothing other than having, a bobcat sit on your engine every night is a complete deterrent to rodents.
Now, at the end of last year, we were really undecided whether or not this was a good investment.
Mm-hmm.
And as Irene said, we started getting mice get trapped by these exact kind of traps earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that they were coming in and they were eating the leaves off of some of our flowers, which doesn't go down well.
No. You chop the leaves off my hollyhock, I chop you off.
Now, what comes in the kit is they have some lures that you can go out and hang where rodents might be going. And we don't use these for a really simple reason.
Right.
We know where the rodents are.
Right. Now, if I was concerned, like in a building or something like that, and because you can use these inside too, they're perfectly safe to be inside, and you don't have to worry about dogs, cats. You know, I mean, you have to stuff your finger up this thing in order to possibly hurt yourself.
These two pieces slide together. Let's see if I can get it to go together right.
You could read the instructions.
Read the instructions. This is a homestead. We don't read instructions.
Oh, well, they've got pictures. How about we look at the pictures?
You know, really, one of the things about living on a homestead is there's a lot of times when you think you know something, and sometimes it turns out you don't.
Okay.
Once you have this assembled, you take the... That was not the trap.
No, that was not. That was me snapping the tail lock off.
So once you have the trap installed on the base, you take the cap off the CO2 cartridge, and you screw it in the base. I'm not going to do that right now. I don't want this thing armed.
And then, once you have it armed, says you should test fire it using a
pencil
stick.
or stick.
Yeah. What you could do is you can...
Here, let me do that. That's where the bait goes.
Yeah. But you can take that off, and then you can see there's a little thing in there. And you poke that, and it'll whack it.
Okay.
And then you put the lure on. Yay! It says replace the gas and the bait every 6 months. They say just put it on the calendar and do it automatically.
Well, they're not going to last 6 months here for the gas canisters. Not at the current rate.
No.
We've had one trap go off 5 times. We had one night when we had 2.
Yeah. Yeah, there was one night when there was 2. There was 1 week where I was getting at least 1 a night in the one trap that I put out by the cars because I wanted them to not eat the cars. Part of learning to use these is the fact that you have to know something about mouses and rats and stuff.
Yeah, one of the common themes that you'll hear from us is that you really want to understand
Know the enemy.
That which you're trying to get. So
Yes.
Insect pests, what's the life cycle? Where do they like to live? Where do they hide? How do they eat? All those types of pieces of information are important for them. Well, when it comes to rodents, it's the same deal. You'll hear most people who are professional pest management people say, oh, well, just put this right up against the house because that's where rats
They run
walk
along.
along.
If you were to watch videos of rats and stuff, if there is a surface, a wall, a fence, something, they will scooch around the edges of it. That's just the way they operate. And therefore, if you have a wall, you put it near the wall. Or if, in the case of the one plant that's getting chewed on, I put one of these over near the plant, on the theory that whatever's eating them, and I suspect it's a chipmunk, will go over there and go, ooh, this smells better than the plant. It may not work, but it has worked for mice lately. And we decided that we only have 2 of these, and we have many mice and rodents of other sorts, so it is time to escalate a little bit. I know that the dog has been very excited about the wood pile in front of the studio lately. So I'm going to put one out in front of the woodpile because I know that the chipmunks are hanging around there, and so are the rats and mice.
And
So-
really, the rats and mice need to go. The chipmunks, if I could simply move them, I'd be happy.
Yeah, because they're incredibly destructive.
You know what time it
incredibly
is?
Destructive. Yes, it is time to say goodbye and to tell people to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. We will put the information for this. We did get these off of Amazon. It was the best price we could find anywhere. We don't always get from Amazon. It depends on who's got the best prices, to be honest.
So we'll put a link for this trap in our list of Amazon affiliate links.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to buy one, you can buy it at the best price that we're aware of
Right.
through our Amazon link.
Right.
And we do get a small commission from the Amazon affiliate program.
Right, and they sell the replacement lures and everything else because the only place we know locally that carries them is like an hour and 15-minute drive one way. And when we're down there, we're more than willing to pick up stuff, but we've been on the road way too much lately. And
Well, we've been on the road, and I've been on the road twice as much.
yes. So until next time. Bye.
Keep brainstorming.
Yeah, because we are. I mean, this was one of those things that we debated for a long time before we bought our first ones. These can also be, instead of being put on a stand like this, they can also be hung on a wall. So if you wanted to just have this part here, it would literally hang on a thing on the wall. So people who have barns and stuff where they have trouble, they will literally hang them on the wall. And I'm sure they give some basic dimensions as to how they recommend. Because this one here shows about hanging them on the wall.
Say goodbye, Irene.
Yeah, anyway. Bye.